Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening. Gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth. So we need a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Just saw this story come up on my feed a little while ago. Then a sister sent the story into my email. She emailed me the story. So I feel like this is part of confirmation the Most High wanted me to talk about this. You know, the evangelical church faces a state of emergency over the pandemic, politics, and the Stanley says. Well, you know, it's not just the evangelical church. It's all the churches. All of the churches have been confederate against the Most High's chosen people. And they set up these churches to act as if somehow, they are enemies of each other and only one has the truth and the other one's leading people to hell and things like that. But we understand that it's all about the Most High, and the Father is exposing the government, the churches, society, public servants. He's exposing all different aspects of life. We have to understand that the Most High is in charge of absolutely everything. The Most High is in charge of the left-hand side and the right-hand side. If the Most High instructs me not to make any videos for a while, that's because he has another plan. Do I always understand what these plans are? Of course not. But if he leads me to not say anything or to keep quiet, that's what I'm going to do. We all serve the Father. Sometimes he has us serve out there in the front lines. Sometimes he has us serving behind the scenes. And that goes for all of us. Sometimes he makes me take a back seat in order to make someone else step up. See, I'm not here for some kind of vainglory or anything like that. I'm here to serve the Most High, and that's it. So if he has me not make videos for a few weeks or for a week or for a few days, just understand that that's the Most High. He's also got to give other people their opportunity to share their knowledge and their understanding. He's got to give everyone an opportunity to study, to show thyself approved. You can't always be waiting for someone to bring information to you. You also have a responsibility to study on your own, to chase the Most High, to chase the Father. So we're going to take a look here at some of the things here in this article. Winning souls for Christ, taking back America for God, standing in the gap. They got their little slogans. Taking back America for God. Their God has always been here. The God of the Gentiles. The God of them getting all their blessings right now. The God of them being able to set up all the laws that benefit them. The God of being able to set up all these laws that destroy our people. So I don't understand what taking back America for God really means to them. The only way that they can even go through and act as if some of the things that they say are even true is to just ignore history, which is exactly what they've been wanting to do this whole time. This article is going to confirm that as well. Anyone who has spent time among white evangelical Christians has heard some of those phrases. The evangelical subculture is filled with militaristic rhetoric that depicts conservative Christians trying to take back America for God from the secular forces of evil. See, both sides have been working for secular forces of evil. These churches have not been telling the truth. They're not telling you who the real people of the Most High are. They're not breaking down the curses of the Bible. They're not talking to you about how America has fulfilled many of these end times prophecies, like Revelation 6 and 8. So they're just a tool, just like the left hand side, no different. But what happens when one of the nation's most famous evangelical leaders declares that saving America is not the mission of the church? When he says that loving people takes precedence over loving country. That's a concept, huh? Noble. It's a new concept for them. Or when he says that Christianity is not about winning, but losing on purpose with a purpose. A couple of things he says, as saving America is not a mission, not the mission of the church. Okay. When he says that loving people takes precedence over loving country. See, these people love their country more than anything, more than people, because they've been willing to put the people of the Most High at the bottom in order for them to enjoy the fruits of their labor from this country. They love what this country has done for them. They love the natural resources that they've been able to exploit for their own gains. These churches have never been about loving people. It's about loving country. That's why you hear certain people say, they'll talk about the bad things that happen in this country, but then they'll always go, but I love this country. I love America. So they'll bring out some of the bad things that this country has participated in. But they still always want to end up with, I love this country. I love this country. Because that's what this has all been about. It's always about loving this country. And it's not that they necessarily love the land. They love what this country has done for them. They love the status that this country has provided for them. Because this is a blessed land that blesses the ones that are in control of it. It's all part of that Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15, and the blessings. It says, Andy Stanley, pastor of one of the nation's largest megachurches, is about to find out. This is part of the message he shares in his provocative new book, Not in It to Win It, Why Choosing Sidelines the Church. In the book, Stanley recounts what happened to him and his church when they confronted three recent challenges: the pandemic, the George Floyd protests, and the 2020 presidential election. Stanley, who describes himself as right-leaning politically, says some members left his church when he canceled in-person services during the height of the pandemic. Others accused him of embracing a woke left-wing Marxist agenda when he talked about confronting racism. Okay? One pastor told him on Twitter, "Sir, with all due respect, you're a false prophet from Satan's hell." See, these, especially I'm going to concentrate on the woke left-leaning Marxist agenda, talking about confronting racism. That's something these churches will not do, because they've all been used to pretty much give a rubber stamp of approval for racist behavior. They use these churches to pretty much approve slavery and the treating of individuals as less than human. Just like you look at Nat Turner, the movie, Birth of a Nation, and the pastor is pretty much pimping Nat Turner to these different different plantations in order to try to, all he wanted to do was just teach them about, obeying their master. Because that's all that it's about. They only care about using the scriptures when it's used to benefit themselves. and that's it. They don't want to talk about their history, and they just want to, pretty much boil everything down to, sound bites. Oh, that's a left wing Marxist agenda. Is it true? No, that's a left wing woke agenda. Is it true? Did you guys do these things? Did you guys rubber stamp these things? Does these things happen under your watch? They're not used to those types of tough questions. They're used to dictating terms and everyone just falling in line. That's what they're used to. And then name calling. You're a false prophet. You're a false prophet from Satan's hell, because they won't deal with the information. And that's okay. Because like I said, at the end, everything is supposed to be a shock. So all you people that are going to these churches, you're going to be shocked at the end. If you think somehow you're doing good by ignoring the Most High's chosen people, and that you're never going to have to pay for the things that have happened to them, you're sadly mistaken. When in Revelation 18 it says, give them double. Who is he talking about? Give them double what they gave you. So apparently you must have been giving something to somebody. And the Most High wants them to give you double. So just because you don't want to tell the truth, that's one thing. But the Most High is going to get his truth out nonetheless. So you have the choice to ignore it, but you're going to have to deal with it now or later. Your choice. It says, this is nothing new for Stanley. With prominence comes criticism. He is one of the most influential evangelical leaders in the U.S. Stanley is pastor of North Point Community Church in suburban Atlanta, a non-denominational evangelical congregation that draws more than 38,000 people to its Sunday services at 8 locations in Georgia. He reaches an even larger audience with his books on leadership, YouTube sermons, and podcasts, such as a recent venture with Adam Grant, the best-selling author and organizational psychologist. Like I said, and they just set up to have these fake arguments, just like they do even in the truth. They just got these groups just set up to have fake arguments to go back and forth. Because, like I said, when you can't get into other books, when you're stuck just, toeing the line with the Catholic Church and the books that they have approved only, then you only got so many subject matter. There's only so much that you can get into. So therefore, you need to, set up one group and another group in order to go back and forth. Absolutely nothing new. The same things that have been happening in the churches even happens in this truth. The name calling each other this and calling each other that, all that stuff. I said that all plays into the hands of Satan. It all plays into the hands of these demons here in this dimension. You never you never get any growth. You just argue back and forth. It's just like, I got you on this, and I got you on that. But we know there's much more going on than just that. The guy right here has 38,000 people. On Sunday, I'm just guys making money hand over fist. Got books or whatever else. So this, even going into these topics, they'll go into these topics, but they say they want to be the ones that are going to come up with the solutions as well. How come we're not allowed to come up with our own solutions? You've got to wait for you guys to come up with solutions to the problem. How you guys? Oh, never again. We're gonna fix this problem, and this is never gonna happen again. It's too late. This isn't gonna happen again because the Most High is about to shut everything down. He's shutting down your power structure because the time of your blessings has come to an end. I'm assuming this must be some of them right here. Some evangelical leaders have become involved in politics Here, Ralph Reed, Dr. Alveda King, Journey keyboardist Jonathan Kane, personal pastor to the President Paula White Kane, and others pray on stage during a July 2020 campaign event for then President Trump in Alpharetta, Georgia. You see, got the one token in the back, but you can see, it's like got the couple tokens right here. You got a couple tokens, and that's all you got. Make it seem like, oh, we care about your opinion, but all they do is just parrot the same talking points that these white evangelical pastors have come up with. Nothing new. Nothing new. They're not going to tell you who the people of the Most High are. They're not going to give you different breakdowns of the Bible. They're not going to talk about other books that have been, hidden from you. So as long as they can stay on top and in power and making decisions, they're good. Because in his book, Stanley says he's embarrassed by how some evangelical leaders have acted during the pandemic and in the aftermath of the 2020 election. He claims they allowed the church to be divided over. I'm going to get into all that, okay? But we understand what's going on. We understand that the Most High is in charge of everything. And now is a time of exposure. And the Most High is exposing these organizations, left and right. Here's that next part. The moment our love for or concern for country takes precedence over our love for people in our country, we are off mission. Stanley writes, well, that's been it since jump. You guys have never been about loving everybody. You only love people that look like you. That's who you love. When saving America diverts energy, focus, and reputation away from saving Americans, we no longer qualify as the ecclesia or the church. We're merely political tools, a manipulated voting demographic, a photo op. We give up the moral and ethical high ground. When did you ever, I ask a quick question, when did you ever have the moral and ethical high ground? When did you ever qualify as the church? When were you anything other than political tools? Since you stepped foot on these lands, you have not cared about the Aborigines, the Aboriginal people. You've gone out of your way to hide everything about who they are, all the way until today. So nothing has changed at all. Like I said, when you say make America great again, when was it ever great for everyone? That's something you're going to need to come to grips with and know that you're going to have to answer to the Most High for all of this. All praise the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom, family.